Hey gang, it must be Wednesday. Yeah, it is. It's Wednesday. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. I'm Mark Sweeney from Austin Dental Spa. And every Wednesday, if this is the first time you're tuning in, we do a Wisdom Wednesday where I try to provide a little wisdom that you might not have had before about scientific. There's always new research coming out on a variety of topics, not only dental, but medical and just general health as well. I try to pass those things on to you. Today is no different. And then we always end with a health tip. And we like to have a little fun while we're doing it. We're filming from right here at Austin Dental Spa in beautiful Austin, Texas. And if you've tuned in before, then you know that last week we talked about whether the internet usage could actually improve your memory and reduce your risk of dementia. If you missed that and are interested in that, you can go to our archives on Facebook, because we always film these Facebook Lives, and you can find it there. Or we've got a YouTube channel being assembled right now with all the Wisdom Wednesdays from the last 5 years archived onto it. That's quite a project, so we're not complete with it yet, but should be able to tune in soon. Today is going to be no different. We're going to talk about, did you know that you have two brains? Not that one, you guys. Get your minds out of the gutter. I'm not talking about that. But before we get to that, I want to let you know about, we talked about the Facebook archives, and we're into the finals of the final five of the what they used to call the Best of Austin, and now it's the Austin Community Choice Awards given by the American Statesman. They haven't announced when the next round starts, but they'll have a round. Last year they did it down to 5, then they did it from 5 to 3, and then they did yet another round. And I think they got some feedback, including from me, that was too many rounds. So I think this next time around, I'll let you know when it is, but it'll be daily voting again for about 3 weeks, and we're in it to win it. We're in both categories, Best Dentist and Best Dental Spa. So I hope I can count on you to support us and vote us the win again. I'll let you know. And one other item, my marketing director, Laura Lewis, just got engaged yesterday. It was quite a surprise. It was an old friend of hers from high school that she got back together with over the holidays, and whiz bang, when you get to be our age, you don't waste time. And so congratulations, Laura. She's usually behind the camera. Her son Barron has been taking over because she actually moved to Santa Fe and is doing all our marketing for Austin Dental Spa and multiple other businesses here in Texas from beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico. So congratulations, Laura and Randy. So let's get to the two brain thing. I know it's not what you guys were thinking, but it's actually did you know that the inside of your intestines, your 23 feet of intestinal lining in your small intestine and 12 feet of your colon actually has nerve endings on the inside of your intestinal tract that is very similar to the nerves in the rest of your nervous system, your central nervous system, and even up into your brain. We learned a little bit about this back in dental school when we had to learn the 12 cranial nerves, the major nerves that come out of the brain and go to different parts of the body. Number 12 I deal with all the time. That's the one that controls gagging and having trouble breathing. That's the 12th cranial nerve. The 10th cranial nerve is called the vagus nerve, and all we learned about it in dental school is it goes to the stomach. That was it. In 45 years, they've learned quite a bit about the vagus nerve. It's actually like a high-speed internet connection between not just your stomach, but your entire intestinal lining. All those little nerve endings, they connect to the vagus nerve, and they get high-speed internet right to your brain. And it's not a one-way street. You know, you've always heard that people that are under a lot of stress, that if you're depressed, if you're anxious, that a lot of us have gotten butterflies in our stomach before we had to get up and speak in front of a bunch of people, or before we had to do something that was kind of scary, like get out and dance in front of a bunch of people at a dance recital, or play a musical instrument where everybody's going to be focused on you. And a lot of people complain that they've gotten that tingling feeling in their stomach, what we call butterflies in the stomach. But it can affect the intestinal lining in multiple other ways. It can actually interfere with digestion, cut off the gastric juices that help you digest your food. And now we know, 45 years later, it also can work the other way around. Things that get people that suffer from irritable bowel syndrome, from constipation, from the other direction, diarrhea, from here to the other end, it's all connected, and they've all got nerves in there, and they communicate with each other. So your brain knows what's going on, and I'm going to give you a couple of research studies that prove this connection. So there's supposedly, and I don't know who figures this stuff out, 100 million nerve cells in your intestinal lining, from your esophagus all the way to the other end. 100 million, that's quite a few. And they even now call it, I didn't hear this term at all in dental school, they call it the enteric nervous system. That's the name for this nerve linings that are in your intestinal tract. But it connects with your brain through the vagus nerves, as I talked about. They're actually studying things like, is there a connection between Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, what are considered to be autoimmune or immune disorders, and the lining in your stomach. So not only can it cause indigestion, upset stomach, irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, loss of appetite, unusual hunger, and nausea. So it covers a broad spectrum of things. So the first study I'm going to talk about is they took a group of psychotic patients. Think it doesn't say how many, just says the participants of the study over 12 weeks. They gave two similar looking pills, but one of them was a prebiotic, meaning that it has the bacteria. You've heard of probiotics. This is very similar. It set the nervous system up in the gut lining for ideal situations. It had the right kind of bacteria in it. And the other half got a placebo. So it looked the same as the prebiotic, but it didn't do anything. It didn't have any medicinal qualities. And they studied them for 12 weeks. And then what was interesting is they flip-flopped them. And they stopped giving the ones the placebo and started giving them the prebiotic, and started giving the ones that had the placebo the prebiotic. And they watched these two groups. And the group, in both cases, that was getting the placebo in an otherwise standardized population, and these are people that already had mental issues and were on medications for that, but they were not having psychotic episodes at the time. And they noticed a measurable improvement in cognitive function in the ones that were getting the prebiotic compared to the ones who were getting the placebo. So that is kind of anecdotal proof, but it was a scientifically done study, and they saw an improvement in the cognitive function. So I thought that was really interesting connection there. Something as simple as just taking a probiotic, which you can get at pretty much any drugstore or health food store. They actually put the good bacteria into your intestinal system in case you've lost it. And how would you lose it? Well, that's the next study. 14,542 female nurses. They studied them over several years. They were all nurses that worked in the national health system in the United Kingdom, in England. And they studied these nurses over a several-year period, and they found that some of them were taking antibiotics for prolonged periods of time for various reasons, either prophylactically so that they wouldn't get sick from dealing with sick patients, or they had something going on themselves that they were treating, but they took antibiotics for longer than a month. And they studied these people, and they found that the nurses who were on long-term antibiotic care were slower. Mentally, they were more lethargic. They didn't make decisions as quickly. They didn't make as good of decisions as the ones who were not on antibiotic therapy. And the researchers discovered that the antibiotics over a long period of time were wiping out some of the good bacteria in the gut lining, and they claimed that that was the reason that these nurses were not performing at the same level as the ones who were not on antibiotics. So and I've seen that with my own self and with patients, that they get an antibiotic to fix some infection going on in their mouth, and they complain of stomach pain or headaches or something else going on. So it fixes one problem and creates a whole new one. So let's get to the crux of the matter. How do you improve your gut health? And I'm looking at like simple, easy ways. Well, one is digest your food properly. That means eating the right kinds of foods, and then, the healthy foods, you know what they are, and cutting out the junk food, and then allowing your body to digest it all. Don't go do something or eat on the fly while you're in the middle of something or writing a paper or doing. Relax for a little bit after you eat and let your food digest. Mind what you eat and how you eat it. They found that people that chew their food prolonged number of times and until they've chewed it up properly before they swallow it, as opposed to the people like my oldest son, who I don't know how the food disappears so fast. He can't chew it more than twice before it's down the guzzle. And so yet he doesn't have any issues with it. He's only 26. Exercise comes up every week, no matter what topic I'm talking about. And we're not talking about going to the gym and working yourself into a hard sweat. We're talking about 20 minutes a day of walking around the neighborhood 3 or 4 times a week. That's enough exercise to get the juices flowing, keep your digestive system working properly. Number 4, drink lots of water. You hear that from me every week, but drinking lots of water keeps things lubricated, keeps you hydrated so that your food will digest properly. And if you're having anxious issues, depression, short-term things that you're going through, difficult times, the 5th thing is seek some professional help. Go talk to somebody about it. So a licensed professional can help you with your digestive system by helping you. Remember, it's a two-way street. So working on this can affect that. Working on that can affect this, I think, as we've already proven. So careful what you eat. You want to eat lots of fibers. You want omega-3s. Limit the fats, proteins, vitamin D. Those are all good things for helping your gut lining. As I mentioned earlier, probiotics, which are cheap and easy to come by, are also good to improve your gut lining. My health tip for the week. So that's it for the gut-brain connection. It is real. You do have 2 brains, 2 nervous systems in your body that communicate with each other. So how do you keep your bones strong? Weight-bearing exercises, walking, running, riding a bike doesn't count. You bicyclers out there, you need something that uses your legs, or you can substitute that by lifting weights in the gym, resistance exercises. Those things have been proven to make your bones denser and stronger because you're working them. And so keep your bones healthy, keep them nice and dense and strong. Get out there and walk this summer and lead a healthier life. So I'll see you next week for another version of Wisdom Wednesday. So long.